Shall we start with the class? I guess nobody
Yes,
would be.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, probably we should start with the class. Yes. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, before starting with the session, I would like to ask that did you complete your assignment that I had given you yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
All of
Yes.
you? Naramveer, Nupur?
मैम मैं कहीं आज इमरजेंसी थी कोई मेडिकल तो इस वजह से कहीं चला गया था मैं असाइनमेंट का मैम मुझे पता नहीं है प्लीज आप एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे
क्या बोल रहे हो?
मैम मैं क्लास छोड़ के चला गया था जब टाइम था तो उस समय मुझे पता नहीं मैम कौन सा असाइनमेंट दिया था आपने क्योंकि मेडिकल इमरजेंसी थी किसी को हॉस्पिटल लेके गया था तो आप
But
मुझे
then
बता
you
देंगे
would
मैम
have informed, no? There was no information regarding the same. I didn't know that you were not there.
या मैम
मुझे कैसे पता होगा कि आप कहाँ गए? आपने तो कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया नहीं था मुझे कि आप नहीं रहोगे कर।
सॉरी इसके लिए मैं माफी चाहता हूँ मैं ये गलती है मेरी
ठीक है। नहीं, मैंने बोला था कि बिजनेस ऑफ फैशन का जो लिंक है उसमें से आपको 5 न्यूज़ एनालिसिस करना है और 2 इंटरनेशनल डिजाइनर्स के बारे में रिसर्च करना है।
अच्छा मैम 5 तो मैंने कर लिया था इतना तो मुझे पता था बाकी इंटरनेशनल डिजाइनर के बारे में मुझे नहीं पता था मैम इसको मैं
आपको
कर
न्यूज़ के
दूंगा
बारे
मैम
में पता था?
नहीं मैम
मतलब आपको कंप्लीट असाइनमेंट के बारे में ही नहीं पता था ना? द असाइनमेंट
नहीं
वाज
मैम हाँ
do research on 2 international designers and go to the website of Business of Fashion and pick out 5 news, current trending news, and do an analysis for the same.
ओके मैम मैम ईमेल आईडी पे सेंड करना है सभी
नहीं, आपको डिस्कस करना था आज. The
अच्छा
idea
अच्छा
was to discuss all of that today here in the class.
जी मैम
Okay, ठीक है. Okay, who else have done it? Tazkia,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
you have completed. Very good. Vanita,
Yes, ma'am.
you two have done it. Nupur,
Yes, ma'am.
you two have done it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's start with Tazkia then.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, firstly, I would like to discuss two international designer brands. I chose Prada and Fendi. So, Prada is basically an Italian luxury fashion brand, and it's
No,
known
you
for
are not
its.
supposed to do work on brands,
Then,
designers, international fashion designers, not brands.
oh, maybe I have written two international designer brands.
No, two international fashion designers.
No, I
Okay,
did on brands, the entire thing.
okay, now narrate me whatever you research
Yeah,
have done. Yeah.
sure. So basically, it's a luxury fashion brand, Italian one, known for its high quality leather goods, accessories, and moreover fragrances and all. And it was founded in 1913 by Mario Prada in Milan. And this brand actually has evolved from a family run leather business
Hmm.
to a global powerhouse.
Hmm.
And if we see what this brand focuses on, that's the luxury fashion, handbags, ready to wear, shoes, and accessories. And इसकी अगर design philosophy देखें, it takes inspiration from art, film, and photography. And this brand being famous is because of several reasons. Its innovation, the timeless designs that we see, the high quality use of high quality leather, its durability. Each product we see is durable, long lasting, and the craftsmanship as well. So that is highly appealing. That's why we get attracted to this brand and people pay for it. And moreover, it's trend setting as well. क्योंकि ये अडाप्ट करता रहता है टू द चेंजिंग मार्केट ट्रेंड्स. So this allows brand to stay very relevant and kind of it continues to be a leader in the fashion industry. And if we see the famous collections of this particular brand, they include the Galleria bag, re-edition nylon bags, Saffiano leather items, and Clio bags. So all three bags, if we see, they are a timeless example of timeless classic bags. And these are known again क्योंकि इनका जो basically durability है and the shape and size in which it comes और scratch resistant leather उसके लिए ये जाने जाते हैं. Be it the shape of bag, curved lines, the rounded bottom, and they appear small, some of the bags, but they can hold many things in it. So this brand is particularly known, famous for this particular reason. Mm, शायद मैं ठीक बोल रही हूँ. Now I'm not sure.
Okay, no. You're
Okay.
right.
So the other one is Fendi. Again, it's an Italian luxury brand known for its fur, ready to wear collection, leather goods, eyewear, and accessories. And it was found in Rome in 1925. And if we see this brand, it specializes in high quality and sophisticated fashion. और इसका काफ़ी रिच हेरिटेज रहा है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द मॉडर्न एंड इनोवेटिव डिज़ाइंस. फेमस कलेक्शन में अगर हम देखें देर आर थ्री मेन बैग्स. पीकaboo बैग, फेंडी बैग, I don't know how to pronounce it. It is Baguette.
Bagway.
Bagwet, okay. And the Fendi backpack. Peekaboo bag is basically made from supple Napa leather. इसका एक फ्लिप फ्लॉप टॉप है जो कि रिवील करता है. इसका नाम इसलिए है पीकaboo. Basically it reveals the internal compartments. With one flip flop we can see the internal compartments easily. And baguette is basically apparently small but roomy, quite roomy bag. It can hold large number of items, not that much but still roomy. And decorated with the FF logo, that monogram. And history अगर देखें इसकी, it was found in 1925 by uh, Edley and Edoardo Fendi in Rome, and known for the basically the five Fendi sisters जो थी. They played a significant role in the company's growth and success, particularly in mid 1940s. उसके बाद इस ब्रांड के साथ बहुत बड़े बड़े डिज़ाइनर्स ने कोलैबोरेट किया. Be it Lagerfeld's contribution, a very well-known German designer, and Sylvia Fendi. She is also a member of Fendi family. She played a key role in brand's artistic direction, accessories बनाने में and menswear.
Okay.
I am very sorry I didn't मुझे ये पूरा समझ नहीं आया था.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. But yesterday, actually, I told you to discuss, to discuss and to understand designers. Why? Because I wanted you guys to have a hang of the
Yeah.
elements of how a designer works, how
Works, yeah.
a designer perceives, right? How does he take an inspiration? What compels him to bring something new into the plate, right?
Mhm.
So that was the central idea why I gave you research to and asked you to do research on designers, international designers, because this designers have established themselves for a long period of time, and they have established themselves in such a manner that today also, even after their death also, they have left their legacy behind, right?
Yeah.
आज की डेट में भी Chanel is a premium couture haute couture brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's an ultra luxury brand, but it started in the period where Coco Chanel was there herself, where she was designing hats. She started with designing hats, but then she eventually got into making garments. Why? Because she realized that the need of the hour is not just hat, but her name was Gabrielle Coco Chanel. And then when she realized that, she thought ki, okay, now after this industrial revolution and after this world just this world war, she thought that now women has to step out. If
Mm-hmm.
women has to step out, then I should bring something which is comfortable for women. She brought in the idea of easy undressing. She brought in the idea of easy undressing. That means that it should be very comfortable to undress yourself, right? It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to undress yourself, because at that point of time they were wearing big gowns and layerings on layers of clothes, right? They were having a क्रिनोलिन के ऊपर फिर एक फैब्रिक, फिर उसके ऊपर कॉर्सेट, कॉर्सेट के ऊपर फिर फैब्रिक, देन अगेन एक मेन फैब्रिक, देन जैकेट. So there were 5-7 layers of garments that women used to wear, and it was quite difficult for a woman to carry all of that and to walk and to you know because at that point of time they were queens, right? The nobility, and they had segregation of people. So what Coco Chanel did was something very useful to the entire community. Now when women had to step out, they cannot wear all of those garments, 5-7 layers of garments, and go to work. It is quite impractical for a woman to wear those garments and to do the office course, right?
Yeah.
Which is why she introduced the idea of easy undressing. So she was the one who understood that, okay, to make a woman comfortable, we should limit down on the layers of clothing. Second, if we are limiting it down, then we should bring something which is very comfortable for them. They can walk, they can sit, they can play, they can do everything in that one particular dress. So she transformed her design. She took inspiration from the men's garment, and she transformed the design into a female garment. Right? She took inspiration from the men's, and then she revolutionized the garments. And then it was easy for the women of that particular community to dress in that particular style and then go to work. That solved the problem. Women used to wear those garments for 8, 9, 10 hours, and it was easy for them to come back home wearing those garments, and then easy. It took 5-7 minutes to undress themselves, right? Rather than, because if you remember, you might have read in your history books, the British fashion and all that Western fashion was such that they used to have the queens used to have 5-7 women standing to help her to dress, because
Yeah.
someone has to tie the corset, someone has to put in the crinoline, someone has to do her hair, right? So it was not humanly possible for a woman to dress all by herself, right? So Coco Chanel understood the need of the hour, and then she designed those products, which is why Coco Chanel today is Coco Chanel. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So she addressed the need of the hour. So for every designer, they have to understand the need of the hour, or they have to bring in something which is very very extraordinary, yet acceptable by the entire people. If you bring something new which is extraordinary to the people, so definitely you will get a lot of appreciation. You will be recognized, right? Isn't it? All of you will agree to this,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes.
This is the thing. Okay, now let's move to Vinita. Vinita, what have you done?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I gathered information about Stella McCartney
Yes,
and
sir.
Calvin Klein.
क्या?
Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein. Okay.
So, ma'am,
Stella.
स्टेला का फुल नाम स्टेला नीना मैक कार्डिनी था. She is an English fashion designer. She is a supporter of animal rights and environmentalism, and also uses vegetarian and animal free alternative in her works.
Hmm.
Since 2005, she has designed an active wear collection for Adidas.
Hmm.
फिर मैम जब वो छोटी थी तब उनको ना पहले से ही डिजाइनिंग वगैरह में इंटरेस्ट था। तो जब वो 13 साल की थी तो शी डिजाइन हर फर्स्ट जैकेट। उसके बाद 3 साल उन्होंने काम करा। शी इंटर्न फॉर क्रिश्चियन लैक्रोक्सिक।
Hmm.
उसके बाद उन्होंने अपने फादर के टेलर के साथ भी कुछ साल तक काम करा। फिर उन्होंने वेजिटेरियन लाइफ अडॉप्ट कर ली स्टार्टिंग से ही। तो वो नो लेदर
Was
और
her
फर।
main reason? What was her main reason to get into design? What was
मैम
her reason? Why did she um, chose a life to become a designer?
मैम उनको पहले से ही मतलब अपने साथ जो लोग थे उनमें उनके साथ उठने बैठने में उनको इंटरेस्ट आया। और उनके फादर के जो डिजाइनर थे उनके साथ स्पेशली आया, क्योंकि उनके फादर के जो टेलर थे उनके साथ उन्होंने बहुत टाइम तक काम भी किया था। और उन्हीं की वजह से उनकी स्किल जो है डिजाइनिंग में वो इनहेंस हुई।
Hmm.
उसके
Okay.
बाद में यस मैम।
बोलो बोलो.
फिर मैम उन्होंने पूरी लाइफ लॉन्ग वेजिटेरियन लाइफ अडॉप्ट करी थी। तो उन्होंने नो लेदर और नो फर अपने डिजाइन में यूज नहीं किया। फिर फिर इन 2001 she launches she launched a fashion house under her own name in a joint venture with Gucci Group। और शी प्रेजेंटेड द फर्स्ट कलेक्शन इन पेरिस। उन्होंने पहली बार अपना कलेक्शन पेरिस में प्रेजेंट किया। अब आज की डेट पे उनके पास 51 फ्री स्टैंडिंग स्टोर है।
Hmm.
और इन 2003 में उन्होंने अपना परफ्यूम लॉन्च करा अपने खुद के ब्रांड से, अपने खुद के नाम पे। और
Hmm.
फिर जब 2007 की बात आई तो शी लॉन्च्ड 100% ऑर्गेनिक स्किन केयर लाइन, जिन्होंने जिसका नाम उन्होंने केयर नाम दिया था, केयर ब्रांड से लॉन्च किया था। फिर नवंबर 2010 की बात करें तो उन्होंने किट कलेक्शन लॉन्च किया था फॉर न्यूबॉर्न एंड चिल्ड्रन अप टू द एज ऑफ 12। फिर जून 2012 की बात करें
Hmm.
तो उन्हें इनवाइट करा था सोल रेबल ब्रेस ब्रांड में टू परफॉर्म एट हर 2013 स्प्रिंग फैशन प्रेजेंटेशन एट न्यूयॉर्क। फिर 2016 में बात करें तो उन्होंने लॉन्च करा था मेंस वेयर कलेक्शन फर्स्ट टाइम। फिर
Hmm.
2018 में स्टेला ने अपनी फाउंडेशन स्टार्ट करा था, जिसमें वो डेडिकेट करते थे ब्रेस्ट कैंसर पीपल के लिए अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को।
Hmm. Hmm.
फिर 2001 की बात करें तो शी लॉन्च्ड द बीटल्स गेट बैक। एक कलेक्शन इस नाम से कलेक्शन लॉन्च करा था जो कि इंस्पायर्ड हुआ था बीटल से। तो ये मैम इतने इन्फॉर्मेशन स्टेला मैक कार्डिनी के बारे में कलेक्ट की।
Hmm.
और कैल्विन क्लेन की बात करूँ तो कैल्विन क्लेन का पूरा नाम कैल्विन रिचर्ड क्लेन था। ही इज अमेरिकन फैशन डिजाइनर। इन 1968 he launched the company that later became Calvin Klein.
Hmm.
Other than this,
Hmm.
he has also given his name to a range of perfume,
Hmm.
watches and jewelries। और जो उनकी करियर की शुरुआत हुई थी वो 1962 में हुई थी अप्रेंटाइसशिप से। ऐसे होटल में अपना काम शुरू करा था।
Hmm.
वो 1968 में उन्होंने पहली बार जैकेट बनाई थी, कोट बनाया था।
Hmm.
कोट बनाया था जिसकी जो प्राइस थी वो $10,000 के अप्रॉक्स थी। अपने
Hmm.
दोस्त के चाइल्डहुड फ्रेंड के साथ मिलकर बनाया था। उसके
Correct.
बाद धीरे धीरे करके उनका बिजनेस बढ़ता गया।
Hmm.
फिर in 1974, Klein designed the tight-fitted signature jeans that went on the gross $2 lakh in their first week of sale। तो एक फर्स्ट वीक में ही उनकी $2 लाख ग्रॉस अमाउंट उन्होंने अर्न कर लिया था। और इसके अलावा उनके जो फर्स्ट कलेक्शन की बात करूँ तो वो उन्होंने जो प्रेजेंट किया था वो अ लाइन ऑफ यूथफुल से
Hmm.
प्रेजेंट किया था। और इनके इसके अलावा जो कलेक्शन है उनके बहुत
Hmm.
सारे, पर मेन मेन मैंने एक फॉल 2025 रेडी टू वेयर था, और फॉल 2016 रेडी टू वेयर, फिर स्प्रिंग 2011 मैन वेयर, 2012 मैन वेयर, स्प्रिंग 2013 मैन वेयर, फिर स्प्रिंग 2011 रेडी टू वेयर, फिर प्री फॉल 2011 था। बहुत सारे और भी इनके कलेक्शन है। और जो कैल्विन प्लेन है वो सोफिस्टिकेट डिजाइन के लिए बहुत ज्यादा फेमस है, स्पेशली
Hmm.
इन द मेंस वेयर। दैट्स ऑल मैम।
Okay. So you have understood it clearly. Nice. Good. Very good. So I'm happy that you have done good research.
थैंक
Okay.
यू मैम।
Okay. Nupur?
मैम न्यूज़ के बारे
Yes,
में।
ma'am.
I'll come to the news.
ओके
But
मैम।
as of now, please tell me. Nupur, please tell me.
Okay. So, ma'am, I studied about Coco Chanel
Hmm.
and Ralph Lauren.
Hmm.
So, if I talk about Coco Chanel, she transformed women fashion by introducing more relaxed and functional clothing. अभी मैम अपने बारे में आपने बताया भी था इनके बारे में अभी उन्होंने वुमेन पे ज्यादा वर्क किया था एंड also she made tweed jackets, chain step handbags, and costume jewelry iconic. And in 1921, she launched Channel Number 5, the first designer branded perfume, still one of the most famous perfume in the world.
Hmm.
So, ma'am, मेरा second है Ralph Lauren. So he was born on 1939,
Yes.
and he is known for crafting a distinct American lifestyle brand. He
Hmm.
started with a line of men's neckties and expanded to create the Polo Ralph Lauren label in 1967.
Hmm.
And he also introduced a polished yet casual style, combining luxury with preppy, heavy, and
Hmm.
leak inspired fashion. And his brand spans apparel, home decor, and fragrance, all reflecting as spiritual living. And he also has in fashion American fashion identity, and he brought a sense of elegance and heritage to everyday wear and made American fashion globally recognized.
Hmm.
मैम बस इतना ही पढ़ा था इनके बारे में।
Okay. Okay. Hmm. So did you find that what has been a major inspiration to them, to him, both the designers, उनका उनका लाइफ का मेन इंस्पिरेशन क्या था? What pushed them
मैम
to get into this business?
worked मैम आई थिंक they both worked for community.
They both worked for
मैम
community.
हाँ मैम उन लोगों ने लोगों की नीड्स को समझा था। जैसे कि कोको ने मतलब उन्होंने वुमेन्स के बारे में ज्यादा समझा था अच्छे से। उनको उनका फैशन मतलब को थोड़ा इनहेंस कर रहा था बिकॉज आपने बताया कि पहले बहुत अनकंफर्टेबल से उनको ड्रेस हुआ करता था तो उन्होंने बहुत रिलैक्स वे में
गाउन्स
उनको
वगैरह पहनते थे ना?
हाँ यस मैम।
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Now, okay. ठीक है. Now, can we discuss about the news? Oh, can we discuss about the news that we came across?
यस मैम।
What are the news? Yeah, Vinita, we can start.
ओके मैम। मैम आपने 2 दिन पहले बताया था जैसे कि चैट जीपीटी वाला, वो पहला न्यूज़ अभी ट्रेंडिंग में है और ज़्यादातर उसी के बारे में ही बता रहे कि चैट जीपीटी लॉन्चेस न्यू शॉपिंग फीचर्स। तो लोग ऑनलाइन बैठे बैठे ही जो भी कलेक्शन अवेलेबल है उनकी वेबसाइट या फिर स्टोर में भी जाकर वो चैट जीपीटी के एआई का टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ करके अपना जो भी कलेक्शन वो सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, जो भी ड्रेस वो अपने जो भी ड्रेस वो चूज़ कर रहे हैं, वो एआई का यूज़ करके अपने ऊपर देख सकते हैं कि हाँ वो हम पे सूट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, उसके कलर के हिसाब से भी वो चेक कर सकते हैं। तो ये लेटेस्ट न्यूज़ है। सेकंड न्यूज़, डायर confirmed Jonathan Anderson will take the menswear helm। इस न्यूज़ में ये है कि जो जॉनथन एंडरसन है, who is well known for his conceptual and clean collection made for daily life, तो उनको मेंस वेयर डायर ने अपॉइंट करा है उसके लिए, जो कि मेंस वेयर जो डायर का जो शो होने वाला है वो 27 जून को होने वाला है। तो उसके लिए फाइनलाइज जो अपॉइंट किया गया है वो जॉनथन एंडरसन को किया है। जो थर्ड लेटेस्ट वो आज की है 29 अप्रैल की, कि जो अनन्या पांडे सर्व जेंट्स जेड डैम एट चैनल क्रूज 2025-26 शो इन ले कोमो इन इटली। तो आज उस चीज़ की शूटिंग हो रही है, जो भी चैनल क्रूज से रिलेटेड है, जिसमें अनन्या पांडे ने ब्लैक क्रिक 3 ट्रायल मिडी ड्रेस को अडॉप्ट किया है विद मिनिमल मेकअप, न्यूड लिपस्टिक, न्यूड आईज विद लाइट लाइनर। इसके बाद फोर्थ न्यूज़ जो है वो भी मैम आज की ही है कि 5 समर कंफर्टिंग चिकनकारी कुर्ताज टू स्टील फ्रॉम बी टाउन सेलेब क्लोजेट। मतलब जैसे जैसे गर्मी आ रही है तो जो बॉलीवुड स्टार है वो चिकनकारी कुर्ता अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं, अपने वार्डरोब में ला रहे हैं, ऐसे करके एक न्यूज़ आ रखी है। उसके बाद रंगोली टू शोकेस देसी ब्रांड एट 3 फैशन फेयर्स दिस में। तो रंगोली है जो एक ग्रैंड फैशन ज्वेलरी एंड लाइफस्टाइल एग्जीबिशन है, जो कि अकोला में हेल्ड होने वाला है ऑन 3rd and 4th मई। तो वो उसमें अब देसी ब्रांड्स भी आ सकते हैं, उसके बारे में बता रखा है।
Okay. Anything else?
मैम एक 6th भी ढूंढा पर उसके बारे में मुझे प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिली। एक ऐसे करके न्यूज़ मैंने देखा कि हु विल होस्ट द फर्स्ट फैशन शो इन स्पेस। अभी जो स्पेस से रिलेटेड 2 इवेंट्स हुए हैं उसके बेसिस पे ऐसा आया है कि फैशन शो स्पेस पे भी होगा, पर कौन होस्ट करेगा उसके बारे में नहीं पता, तो पूरी प्रॉपर डिटेल उसके बारे में मेरे पास अभी नहीं है मैम।
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, Taskia, did you do any research on the news part?
Yes, ma'am, I did try. So the first news is basically regarding LV, Louis Vuitton. It raises price on popular US bag following new Trump's tariffs. तो बेसिकली जो इसका एक बैग आता है नेवरफुल के नाम से, सो इसका जो है बेसिकली प्राइस हाइक हो गया है, एंड क्योंकि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हुआ 10% टैरिफ्स ऑन गुड्स कमिंग फ्रॉम यूरोपियन यूनियन उस वजह से, एंड इट नाउ कॉस्ट्स like $2,200. It's on the company's US website. तो ये $100 ज़्यादा है लास्ट वीक से, so there's a hike of around 4.8%. And the other one is regarding Chanel. So Chanel जो है it has closed basically न्यूयॉर्क सिटी के सोहो में इसने अपना एक I don't know what that is, atelier, something like that.
Sorry.
So they have closed an opening there in New York's City Soho. That was opened in January 2019.
Hmm.
तो basically earlier this year ही ये न्यूज़ में था कि ये होने वाला है, and then it basically happened in January 18, 2025.
Mhm.
So the other one is regarding Adidas.
Hmm.
तो उनका जो है बेसिकली ये है कि एक it reported better than the expected earnings in the first quarters, क्योंकि कंज्यूमर्स ने कंटिन्यू किया दी रेट्रो स्नीकर्स को लेना.
Hmm.
सो बेसिकली इसका जो क्लासिक शू मॉडल्स है उसमें बेसिकली सेल ज़्यादा हुई है. So this the fourth one is Unilever say associated. Its sales have rised 3% on demand for premium products.
Hmm.
And the other one I could find is related to Nike. So they say that Nike forms new team for secretive brand with Kim Kardashian. So it is basically assembling executives, designers to operate the new brand with Kim, and plans to release its first women wear collection this spring.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it. There were many other news, the highlights related to this. That's it. I could find these five.
Did you get a hang of the thing that how the industry is working? What are the major changes every day is happening? You, see, why I asked you to study about the news so that you become a little relevant on the industry forefront, right?
Yes,
आपको
ma'am.
इंडस्ट्री कैसे काम कर रहा है, क्या चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं. So you will get a good understanding. So every day you should at least spend some time regarding this thing. You will get to know about a lot of things in the fashion industry, what is happening, who is changing, and what new brands are upcoming, how the technological advancements is shaping the new future of fashion, right? So you will get to know, you will have an edge over everyone else, right? At the same time, you should also read the annual reports, okay, annual reports of how fashion is growing, about sustainability, about the ethical practices in fashion industry, how they are growing. I'll share you a link, probably you can go through that. Wait. mm, I'm posting it in the group, okay, I mean in the chat box. I have pinned it. You can go and check the website, okay? So you will get to know it has a lot of industrial news reports. Indian apparel industry के बारे में है, Asian apparel industry, global apparel industry, European, South Asian, North American, US, UK, East Asian. So you will get to know about a lot of things, right? So it will be easy for you to understand and get a hang of the decision that you're making, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now okay. Now do you have do what why do you think acha, what do you think, why did I give you that assignment regarding the designer study?
अ, ताकि हमें ये समझ आए कि वो काम कैसे करते थे, उनका मेन मोटिव क्या रहा फैशन की ओर क्यों आए,
Right.
कैसे स्टार्ट किया, एंड
Correct. Hmm. And
all these things, because I couldn't do it properly. So
hmm. No, it's okay. But late, धीरे धीरे आपको भी you will get an understanding. Now, the major purpose of giving you that assignment was that you will understand how the designers interpreted the need of the hour. आज के डेट में आपको क्या लगता है फैशन इंडस्ट्री में किस चीज़ की कमी है, और हम या फिर क्या चीज़ ऐसा गलत है या फिर क्या चीज़ है जो हम अच्छे से कर सकते हैं? डू यू थिंक देयर इज एनीथिंग दैट वी कुड डू और प्रॉब्ली वी कैन चेंज और वी कैन ऐड सो दैट वी कैन रिवोल्यूशनाइज द एंटायर डिजाइन सिस्टम?
मैम, मुझे ये लगता है कि जो फैशन इंडस्ट्री है वो ज्योग्राफी के अकॉर्डिंग कपड़ों का इतना ट्रेंड नहीं ला पाती है। जैसे यहाँ का क्लाइमेट है, समर का आता है कलेक्शन, लेकिन बहुत से जैसे बच्चों को हम जींस पहना देते हैं, ये तो अनकंफर्टेबल रहता है। तो मुझे लगता है कि शायद ये एक माइंडसेट को चेंज करने की जरूरत है। आई थिंक मे बी।
अब प्लीज़ आप धर्मवीर फिर से बोलेंगे? मैं एक्चुअली प्रॉपर्ली समझ नहीं पाई आप कहना क्या चाहते हैं।
मैम, मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि जैसे ज्योग्राफिक स्थिति है, जहाँ का जैसा क्लाइमेट है, वहाँ के अकॉर्डिंग वैसा फैशन ट्रेंड हो तो ज़्यादा बेटर है। लेकिन ये क्या है, ग्लोबलाइजेशन के कारण ऐसा हो नहीं पा रहा है। जैसे यहाँ का अभी वार्म क्लाइमेट है फिलहाल, समर चल रहा है, लेकिन चेंज तो होता है। लेकिन यदि हम इन्वायरमेंट में देखते हैं, हमारे आसपास लोगों को देखते हैं, तो ये इस समय भी जीन्स डालते हैं। तो एक एग्जाम्पल के रूप में, जो कि सुटेबल नहीं है उस क्लाइमेट के अकॉर्डिंग।
I
तो
understand,
ये
but then
माइंड सेट का।
people are not that conscious. People do not know. यहाँ पे अगर आप इंडिया की बात करो, यहाँ का जो डेमोग्राफी है, ठीक है, यहाँ का जो ज्योग्राफी है, ठीक है, उस हिसाब से लोग इंडिया इंडिया में बहुत सारे लोग अंडर प्रिविलेज्ड हैं जो कि पोवर्टी स्ट्रिकन हैं, और उनको आप जाके अगर बोलोगे, एंड वी आर इन ऑलमोस्ट द सेकंड लार्जेस्ट कंट्री और मे बी द फर्स्ट, राइट आफ्टर चाइना, जिसका
शायद
सबसे
मैम, मैं ये मानता हूँ मैम, शायद अवेयरनेस की कमी नहीं लगती, या फिर पॉवर्टी इसके लिए जिम्मेदार है।
तो फिर क्या जिम्मेदार है? आपको क्या लगता है?
मैम, मुझे लगता है शायद अवेयरनेस की ज़्यादा कमी है।
अवेयरनेस होने से अगर पैसा नहीं होगा तो क्या आप फैशनेबल बन पाएंगे?
हाँ मैम, यानी मैंने देखा, जैसे कुछ गरीब तबके, यानी दिल्ली का मैं उदाहरण दे सकता हूँ।
हम्म।
जैसे बहुत से जिनके पास पैसे कम है, तो वे जो रोड साइड मार्केट है उनमें भी कपड़े बहुत सस्ते बिकते हैं। तो शायद यदि बहुत से लोग खरीदते भी हैं वहां
We
से।
are talking about the entire demography of India, not just Delhi.
या मैम,
You think
आर यू
about
राइट?
the entire country. Don't just think about the particular area that you're living in. If I say कि
मैम,
उड़ीसा में लोग बहुत अच्छे से समर में कॉटन कपड़े पहनते हैं और विंटर्स में ये, then you cannot compare the same, right? ओवरऑल डेमोग्राफी की बात अगर किया जाए, पूरी तरह वी आर स्टिल अ डेवलपिंग नेशन, we are still a developing nation, but we are not developed yet. And the fact that you are saying कि I completely agree कि दिल्ली में सदर बाजार में या फिर चांदनी चौक में या फिर करोल बाग में, ठीक है, यू विल फाइंड 200 रुपये 100 रुपये में बहुत अच्छे अच्छे कपड़े, ओके, सो दे कैन वेयर इट, बट डू उनको बेसिक एजुकेशन भी नहीं मिल पाता, तो वो कहाँ से बेचारे ये सब सेंस लाने की कोशिश भी करेंगे? आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट?
या मैम, मैम थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड पे कह रहा था, क्योंकि जो मेरा एनजीओ, तो हम अवेयरनेस पे काम करते, तो कुछ हमने चेंजेस देखा है, जो झुग्गियां है या उनको लेकर के। तो शायद हो सकता है, मैं एक पर्टिकुलर थिंग रखता हूँ कोई एरिया के पर्पज से, तो हो सकता है कि ये पूरे नेशनल लेवल पे शायद हम चेंज करें तो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम लगे या एफर्ट
हाँ,
लगे।
डेफिनेटली बहुत
तो
टाइम लगेगा। अवेयरनेस की ही कमी है, बट एट द सेम टाइम we also have to see the demography and the psychographic attitude of people. Are people willing to do that?
क्योंकि मैम जैसे हमने ये थोड़ा फैशन डिजाइनिंग से रिलेटेड हमने क्या किया, एक झुग्गी एरिया में गए थे, तो वहां पर हमने लोगों को थोड़ा जो बच्चे हैं उनको समझाया था, पेरेंट्स को लेकर के, कि आप ये कॉटन वेयर कीजिए, ऐसे ऐसे थोड़े जो पजामा टाइप यानी समर में है, क्योंकि उनको मेडिकल इशू नहीं होंगे, बहुत सी चीजों से बच जाते हैं। तो उसका इम्पेक्ट पड़ा था, और शायद बहुत सारे जैसे एलर्जी है, कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं, तो शायद उनमें मैंने एलिमिनेट होती हुई चीजें देखी है। तो शायद मैंने इसलिए
It
अवेयरनेस
is
का
a good
बताया
thing.
था।
It's a very good thing that you did that. But the thing is, I completely agree to what you're saying. But if you talk it from the country's perspective,
या
so
मैम या
this idea won't fit in. Okay, but हाँ, locality wise, community wise, अगर awareness का किया जाए, अगर aware किया जाए, तो maybe people would change their thought. Maybe people would perceive it in a good manner, right? And maybe there
या
could be some change, right?
या मैम।
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Now I would like to show you a documentary. Okay. Hmm. This is Financial Times का fashion रीति.
Fashion is constantly on the move. It is also one of the most destructive forces on our planet. We all know that something has to change. And the outlier that seems to be leaping ahead of other solutions is re-commerce. One such company is Vestiaire Collective.
It was completely about sustainability. From day one, we realized that our generation was creating waste because our generation was the first one to consume fast fashion. 1 item out of 3 ends up in landfill after 1 year. So it's
So did you understand? What did she say? We are the first generation to consume fast fashion, and one out of the three, मतलब 3 कपड़ों में एक कपड़ा जाके लैंडफिल में गिरता है. Can you imagine the amount of pollution that we are generating? Wherever you couldn't understand, please tell me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please watch this video carefully. Huh?
1 item out of 3 ends up in landfill after 1 year. So it's literally, to your point, it's insane. And that's what's shocking to us because we love craftsmanship, we love creativity, we love longevity, and it makes no sense today to produce and throw away fashion.
That's why we did curation at day one, We create the item we wanted to propose on the platform. And we know, we did a study, that 85% of our users are willing to buy less but buy better. And 79% of items sold on the platform replace a first-hand market purchase.
What did the luxury brands think of you when you started?
We knew the brands, and when we say, okay, we're going to launch a second-hand platform doing authenticity, they were looking at us, okay, do it. It didn't appeal to them how big the potential that would be the second-hand market.
Because they were scared of losing potentially market share or customers to us. But their buyers are our sellers. They are the one providing the supply and potentially buying the new collection. We bring the new blood, as in the new customers that are not yet capable of affording a brand new branded item, but they will start choosing that brand through secondhand. And if they like the experience of that brand, then they will convert into a first-hand buyer.
Since 2021, we partnering with 12 key luxury players.
We're partnering with Gucci, with Chloe, with Burberry. So if you have a Chloe jacket that you bought and you no longer want to keep, we make things super simple. So you scan the QR code that is on the label, and then you will access first the history of your piece, where the cotton has grown and so on. And in one click, you'll be able to sell it on Vestiaire. And once you've sold it, you have 3 options. You can give the proceeds to charity. You can buy again on Chloe, or you can have a voucher to buy on Vestia. We are proud to have the best teams and the best experts in-house, the best training, but also to work hand in hand with luxury brands that trust us. We are enabling those luxury and fashion brands to enter circularity.
I think we were pioneer in a
We
sense.
were. It's not I think.
We were pioneer. We are pioneer. We are the first unicorn founded by two women also. The place of the women in tech is important at Vestiaire, and we continue to raise that voice also in the industry.
The re-commerce in fashion market is currently worth around $100 billion, but is expected to significantly outperform the overall fashion industry, growing to a market size of over $460 billion by 2030.
Altogether, I think re-commerce has a long way forward. And I think brands are not there yet, but they're very conscious already that customer demands and wants this type of solution, and we are capable of bringing it to them.
Everybody wins.
Yes. Planets, the consumer, the brands, the platforms, everybody.
Okay. Did you find this video interesting?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
So what they're essentially doing is they have not started a new brand, but what they are doing is they're collaborating with other brands, okay, and with the consumers of the other brands, with the international luxury brands, and they are asking them to sell out their products. If they are no more interested, they can sell it out to the towards that, and then what they can do is they can probably they are probably bringing a new concept of re-commerce rather than e-commerce. It's just not online shopping, but shopping a second hand with utmost, which gives you the power of authenticity, which gives you the power of craftsmanship. Which, suppose for example, आपके पास उतने पैसे नहीं कि ओके विल बाय अ फर्स्ट हैंड क्लोई का बैग या गुची का बैग या लुई विटॉन का बैग, बट जब सेकंड हैंड में आएगा विद प्रॉपर केयर, और वो पूरा उसको जैसे उनके टीम्स एक्सपर्ट्स हैं तो उसको प्रॉपरली रीचेक करके जब वो अपने वेबसाइट में अपलोड करेंगे, ओके, and that is half of the price of the product, so probably you can think of affording that luxury brand, right?
Yes,
क्योंकि
ma'am.
आपको वो 50%
Yes, ma'am.
में ही मिल रहा है, करेक्ट, राइट? एंड दे आर जनरेटिंग बिजनेस आउट ऑफ दैट, एंड दिस इज बिकॉज कि वो वेस्ट ना हो, वो लैंडफिल में जाके ना गिरे, बट रैदर what we can do is probably we can take it to a next level by reselling it to the consumer, wherein sustainability is the epicenter. वो जाके अभी कहीं डंप होता तो उससे अच्छा है कि वो कोई और यूज कर ले, repurposing the reusing the product. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would like to show you one more video. This is a very important video. This is a luxury video. You'll understand, because this is the need of the hour. We are talking about sustainability and how are we generating waste, and that is how that is impacting the planet. So we need to understand the very need of the planet, very need of the industry, so that we consume responsibly. Responsible production and responsible consumption is one of the goal that has to be achieved in the sustainable development goals laid by the UN, right? By 2030 they're expecting to meet up all the SDGs, right? So responsible production and responsible consumption is one of the pillars of the SDGs, right? Sustainable development goals. And for that we have to think, how are we producing and how are we consuming? And through this video you will realize that how are we generating the waste. So we have to rewire ourselves. We have to rethink that whatever we are purchasing, where would it land? What is the aftermath? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's one of the most polluting industries in the world. It's one of the most work-intensive industries in the world. It affects 100% of the population. And so as a result, its impact is enormous, but so is its potential to lead. The reality is that your choices matter hugely.
In your opinion, what's wrong with the fashion industry at the moment?
Everything. The pace and the scale, the current model of the industry.
Exploitation is rife.
Driving the wages down and down and down.
Lack of regulations.
Toxic environment.
There are finite resources. Take, make, chuck.
Landfilled or incinerated.
Forced to work overtime.
Buying and buying and buying, and then mindlessly dumping.
When you throw something away, there is no away.
Everything is wrong with the fashion industry.
Sustainability means a lot of different things to different people, but I think in its broadest sense, it's about fashion that looks to do no harm to nature, restore balance with nature, and provide opportunities to people without exploitation. The different areas of sustainability can cover topics such as waste and pollution. It could be looking at workers' rights.
Rana Plaza disaster.
Rana Plaza.
Rana Plaza.
Rana Plaza incident.
Labour rights in the fashion industry.
Okay, Rana Plaza is a place in Bangladesh. Okay, so it's a sweatshop where the laborers were forced, okay, to work. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah. So it collapsed. The entire building collapsed on April 2013, right? So 8 मंजिल का वो building था. The entire building collapsed. Okay. मतलब वहाँ पे इतने सारे लोग थे, वहाँ पे सब कोई फैशन इंडस्ट्री का वो सारा प्रोडक्शन वहीं से चलता था. एंड वहाँ पे कम से कम 2500 लोग घायल हुए थे और 1200 लोग मरे थे. Understood? And it's because the entire structure was not taken into consideration while they were producing it for the market. कम कॉस्ट के चक्कर में लोगों को फोर्स किया जाता था कि आप ज़्यादा काम करो, ठीक है. एंड बहुत सारे लोग इस तरीके से मर गए क्योंकि उनका स्ट्रक्चर सही नहीं था. प्रॉपर लेबर जो काम करते थे उनको तनख्वाह नहीं मिलती थी. दे वर फोर्स्ड, दे वर अबैंडन्ड, राइट. And which is why this happened. So it is a very disturbing part of the fashion industry that कि हमें कम पैसे में सोर्स करने के चक्कर में हम लोगों को लाइफ को भी नहीं छोड़ते. So it's a very selfish and a very dark side of fashion industry that we do not take all of this into consideration while we are purchasing. We need to see कि यह purchase कहाँ से हुआ है और ये ब्रांड्स जो हैं ये कहाँ से सोर्स कर रहे हैं. अगर किसी का पैसा मार के उनको पैसे ना दे के ये गारमेंट बना है, डू यू थिंक इट इज एथिकल टू वेयर इट?
नो मैम.
डू यू रियली थिंक? तो आप एक बार देखना राना प्लाजा का जो वो बिल्डिंग जो ये हुआ था, यू कैन सर्च इट इन गूगल एंड यू कैन सी पीपल मतलब उसके बाद मोर्चा निकली थी कि बहुत सारे मीडिया क्लोथ्स एंड ऑल. बट डू यू रियली थिंक एक बार एक बार सब कुछ खत्म होने के बाद और कुछ बचा होता है क्या?
No, ma'am.
कुछ नहीं होता ना फिर उसके बाद then there is nothing left, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's very disturbing, very disturbing. तो एक बार आप देखना वो राना प्लाजा वाला चीज़, तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि what is the cost of the garment that we are making, correct? एक बार देखना तुम लोग ज़रूर से.
Industry has come to have been represented by
looking at workers' rights.
Rana Plaza disaster.
Rana Plaza.
Rana Plaza. Rana Plaza incident.
Labour rights in the fashion industry has come to have been represented by one single incident which took place in 2013, and that is the collapse of the Rana Plaza factory complex, in which, in about 90 seconds, 1,138 people were killed.
The story of Rana Plaza hit the headlines and galvanized millions of ordinary people to have to start to question and how are they responsible and what is their involvement in this industry which has led to so many deaths. And of course those deaths occurred because people were working in highly hazardous environments, were working in factories with no safety regulations, rampant issues around sexual violence and sexual harassment. All of them forced to work overtime, and most get paid below the poverty line, at most about $1 or $1.50 a day.
They knew there was a problem with the building the day before. There were cracks already in the floor and the pillars of the Rana Plaza building. And the workers left that day, and the workers were forced to go back into that factory because they all had deadlines.
One element that really shocked us about the Rana Plaza incident was when we were reading about the reports of brands calling up, having no idea whether their supply chain, their workers, were inside the factory. Often brands have no idea where their factories are, and they also have no control over who is actually working and the sorts of environments that they're working in. I think that was a huge wake-up call for the fashion industry to understand that they must be responsible for what's going on in their own supply chain, and that it's a reality check to understand that it's still going on today.
I don't think anyone should be remotely comfortable with the state of the fashion industry today. There's greater awareness, but has anything actually changed? Not a lot.
Environmentally, the fashion industry is one of the most destructive industries in the world, and that isn't hyperbole. At the moment, it has the biggest environmental impacts behind housing, transport and food.
About 90 to 95% of all textiles used are cotton and polyester, and both of those materials have got sustainability issues related to them.
The releasing of microfibers in the oceans due to the use of polyester fibers, to the toxicity in rivers due to dyeing and treatment of fabrics.
The cotton industry requires an incredible amount of toxic pesticides to allow cotton to grow. It also forces the production of materials in the cheapest way possible. And the cheapest way possible, of course, is to use highly industrial methods that use highly toxic pesticides for fast growing, etc.
We know that the majority of cotton is picked in Uzbekistan as a result of cotton irrigation demands. The Aral Sea is almost completely dry.
Cotton is grown on arable land. That's land where you could grow food. We've got a growing global population of people that will need feeding. So there's going to start being a question about how responsible it is to continually be growing a crop to wear when we need crop to eat. We know that these are finite resources, we're going to need them and to use them in a much more responsible way.
In the UK, 1.2 million tonnes of clothing is discarded, and 300,000 tonnes of those clothes ends up in landfill and incineration, and much of that is wearable. So we have a big waste problem. It impacts climate change because it has a big carbon footprint, and also what we're doing is we're encouraging the fashion industry to create even more clothing, which uses up huge amounts of resources, including natural resources like land, energy and water.
Fashion from Nature is an exhibition that I developed for the V&A. I wanted to do a good fashion exhibition with sustainability at its core. It tells a complicated, quite uneasy story about the relationship between fashion and nature. We've got positive and negative stories running alongside each other. We go back, say, to the 17th, 18th century, back 400 years. The principal fibres being used were vegetable fibres like linen and then cotton, and protein fibres, animal fibres, so silk from silkworms and wool from sheep. These are very versatile materials. They each have their own qualities. They can be combined together to very good effect. But obviously, being derived from plants or animals, they are subject to disease and to, say, crop failure. And so during the 19th century, people started looking for alternatives which were more reliable and potentially cheaper to produce. Scientists and industrialists started researching the possibilities of making fibres from cellulose. The two we still use today extensively are rayon, for rayon viscose, and cupramonium. They were a major, major breakthrough. They were hugely exciting for people. They were used by couturiers as a new innovative fabric. They had their downsides. They used terrible chemicals in some of the processes, particularly for viscose. But then moving on in the 20th century, we get the first fabrics made from fossil fuels, from coal and oil. So we get nylon being the first one. Again, an amazing, amazing fabric. The kind of success of sheer nylon stockings cannot be overestimated, the thrill that it gave people to wear stockings. And then we get successive generations of these fibres coming through. But again, they have many problems associated with their processing. And of course, we are now drawing very, very heavily on fossil fuels for energy of all kinds and also to make fibres.
If you are running a business where you are the one who's managing operations, sales, marketing,
is sustainability a passing trend? It's been trending for billions of years. I would reckon it is the other way around, and this mass consumption and mass production is the passing trend. My name is Ursula de Castro and I'm the co-founder and creative director at Fashion Revolution. I am a designer by profession. That's how I started, with a small brand called From Somewhere in 1997. We were the first brand to upcycle pre-consumer waste at scale. So Fashion Revolution really was Carrie Summers' idea. She had the idea in the bath just after the Rana Plaza disaster, which was a moment where I guess the whole of the community was really shocked, and the collapse was both predictable and avoidable, and we all felt very much like something had to happen. So Fashion Revolution is a global movement raising awareness to the impact, social and environmental impact of the fashion industry on its supply chain, on consumers, and on the environment we all share. There are ways to become involved with governments and ask questions. There are ways to be an activist. There are ways to encourage a different type of consumption or relationships with the clothes that you've already got. The supply chain is very murky, very, very opaque. And without transparency, without visibility, it is easier to hide both environmental and human rights abuses.
What we have at the moment is fast fashion.
There isn't a better way to dress for less 24 hours a day. Now on sale from $9.95.
Which is a model based on producing, billions of very short life pieces of clothing.
The prices are low.
which are kind of piled high and sold cheap, and which people are encouraged to buy and then throw away, like basically as quickly as possible. What fast fashion is doing is driving the wages down and down and down, driving conditions down and down and down, and ramping up the amount of fashion that is being produced.
Burlington silky woven.
I think we're going to come to a crunch point, like sooner rather than later, if we carry on how we are. So I think, yeah, people should engage with secondhand clothing. Obviously, there are still problems with that. I think it makes us sort of feel like we can just, you know, consume as normal and then just recycle.
They have spent a fortune on the newest shoe, have twice as many dresses as the others do. So she wears bracelets to hear, mink up to her ear. A lady isn't dressed unless her legs are too.
Just like give it to the charity shops and everything's fine, whereas, you know, a lot of it still ends up in landfill, a lot of it ends up decimating factory economies in like Southern Africa. My personal approach has always been is that you've got to start thinking collectively rather than individually. You know, you've got to basically just stop just thinking about yourself.
We're a storytelling platform aimed to get the next generation excited about sustainability, consumption, and climate. Like, I first started Stories Behind Things because I really struggled with the mental health aspect of consuming so much, our throwaway culture, fast fashion. It really bothered me and I found it difficult to slow down. Creating Stories Behind Things was a way for me to reconnect to what we're using every day. I got into sustainability really through my love of shopping secondhand. I think that act of really taking your time when you're shopping and choosing what to bring into your life really helps you love it for longer. I think those pieces are the ones that you'll fix when they break. I often find that the pieces I buy on impulse are often the ones that end up on your bedroom floor, or the ones that you don't really take care of. Whilst shopping secondhand is great, we wanted to find a fun way of swapping clothes in a more circular format. So we created a series called The Big Clothes Switch. How they work is we invite our community to bring up to 5 items that they're no longer loving from their wardrobes and trade them in for secondhand pieces that we've curated. Our mission with The Big Clothes Switch is to replace shopping, to give people that same dopamine hit of having something new, but it not being new from a store, just, you know, from the existing millions and millions of items of clothing that are on this planet. We realized how many people felt the same as we did, the same eco-anxiety, the same concern for the future of our planet. So we started doing things like coffee mornings or meetups, which then turned into paneled events where we were exploring different areas of sustainability. We always end with actionable steps that our community can take to implementing action every single day.
This year, I decided to take a stand for sustainability by creating these events that bring together eco brands and vintage pop-ups into one space, and I mix that together with talks from the industry and from the pop-ups that are here, sewing workshops, and also swap shop as well, to share with people really how to, what it's called, style yourself sustainable.
Kind of just about people exchanging fashion, exchanging tips, exchanging clothes, especially in the garment industry. Like, the exploitation is a complete product of our own consumerism, and our choices in fashion and our choices in buying make a huge impact on the exploitation. So this event is not just about swapping clothes and being sustainable, it's also about raising awareness about that.
My name is Alex and I run a blog called Serendipity. I write about sustainability and style, and basically I'm trying to help people build a more meaningful wardrobe. Fixing things, it really isn't rocket science. It's actually, there's so many tutorials available. There's a lot of information available on how to do like basic repairs, like how to sew on a button, how to put up a hem, even how to take up trousers if you have to. It's really not that complicated, but I think just the desire to give it a go is the most important thing.
I'm hoping people take from the event is just a new level of mindfulness to really think about where the clothing's from, who's making it. Also, can you reuse what you have and use what there is in the world already in terms of using vintage, etc. If we can be more mindful of that and really make our clothes last a lot longer, that would be really awesome.
This video is for women who love connecting with people, guiding them and helping them solve their problems. You might not know this, but your inbuilt talent of helping people can be monetized and open the doors for you to become a life coach. I've helped hundreds of women discover their passion and monetize it into a source of income. Hi, I'm Pooja Puneet.
We're here in a trade charity shop today, surrounded by clothes that might otherwise have gone to landfill and incineration. And at the core of everything that trade do is to extend the life of our clothes. What we do is we encourage people to pass on their clothes to trade for someone else to use. Trade is a UK charity, and we've worked for nearly 20 years tackling the environmental and social impacts of producing our clothes, consuming clothes and disposing of our clothes. And we do this by providing reuse services to the UK public and to businesses. And then we complete this circle by committing the funds that we raise to projects that support the people and places making our clothes. So things like supporting cotton farmers to grow organic and eliminating child and bonded labour from the textile supply chains. Problem with the fashion industry isn't fashion. We're not about knocking people's love of fashion. And at Trade, we're all about fashion, we're all about clothes, and we want to nurture people's love of clothes. But also what we want to do is we want to build sustainability into that love of clothes. Charity shopping still has some stigma, although that's changing. One of the things that makes Trade quite unique in terms of charity retail is how we stock our shops. The stock is selected for customer and location. We're not necessarily competing with other charities, we're competing with other retailers.
Every day there's two managers at the front of the belt, so they're managers from individual shops and they know what they're looking for, they know what their customers are. We have two main categories, basic and premium, or kind of high street premium. There's life left in it that someone would be willing to buy it and wear it. And it's a Marks & Spencer's silk summer dress. I can instantly see that it's fine, it's in good condition, there's no rips, there's no tears. The scarf is faded out and dirty, and the hat is been stretched out, so this is no good. You can actually get a high volume of things that are unsellable, and you start to get quite an instinct for it.
We got two different grades on that wholesale. The ones that can still be wearable, but it's not very good enough to be sold in a charity shop, is sold to these textile collectors and recyclers within UK, and they do a different kind of grading and export those clothing overseas. And then the third way is the items that completely cannot be wearable at all because they are ripped, because they are so dirty or stained. That one, we got partnerships with the proper textile recyclers that what they do is try to convert those textiles into different materials. Other clothing is being used to fill car seats, to try to make something out of that clothing. Our main aim, or what we try to avoid, is to put any piece of clothing into landfill. But I completely disagree in the sense that it will affect the local industry, as the local industry is still producing, still manufacturing, and still selling brand new goods.
Typically with synthetic materials, they can be recycled through a chemical process, get it back to being a virgin fibre, as good as new, and reused, rewoven, reknitted, and so on. With natural fibres, it's probably more likely to be a mechanical process. So materials such as wool or cotton would be shredded, or the materials could be then respun into yarn again. There are issues at the moment in terms of the technology with mechanical recycling, and the quality of the yarn and the fibre tends not to be as good as new, which is why you tend to see a percentage of recycled textile used back in again, but they have to put that with new cotton, for example, to ensure that the material is still strong and is still going to be durable.
Cotton is a natural fibre, obviously, but growing cotton uses massive amounts of pesticides and chemicals and water. So you've got that trade-off against using something like polyester, which is a byproduct of the petroleum industry but does not biodegrade. Polyester cannot be recycled infinitely without losing some of its performance and quality, and it's a plastic. We all know about the damage that microplastics can cause when they get into waterways and into marine and aquatic life, and potentially into the human food chain.
About 90 to 95% of all textiles used are cotton and polyester, and both of those materials have got sustainability issues related to them. So we really need to try and diversify a lot more of the materials that we're using.
My name's Lizzie Harrison. I live in Bristol. I'm a fashion designer, and I've been working in sustainable fashion for about 12 years, running a fashion label. Antiform is a fashion label that I set up back in 2010. I was really interested in the types of waste materials and unwanted textiles that we had already around us, and also all of the skills that we had within our community. And I thought, can I make and design a fashion label from what we already have? We're trying to plough a new way of doing things, and the industry is so fast, and we're trying to do something that is a lot slower, much more at a kind of handmade and human scale. And how do you build a business out of that while trying to bridge those two timescales? We work first and foremost with the materials that are available and the skills that are available. Sometimes the materials will come directly from a manufacturer. In those situations, we might be able to get quite a lot of information about the materials, but we may be asked to sign non-disclosure agreements with the brand because they don't want to talk about the waste that they have. We can generally establish the fibre composition, but we might not know where they've been made, who's made them, who's worn them. This is our box jumper. The material that it's made from is from an absolutely amazing textiles mill that was up in Denby Dale called JT Knitting, and they used to supply all sorts of British fashion houses with knitted textiles. And they had some absolutely beautiful rolls of textiles that designers had ordered but never had paid and collected. It had been sitting in their warehouse, and when it came to their closing, they had to shift it or it was going to go into a skip. And it was so sad to go and see all of the, one of the last bits of our sort of textiles heritage being packed up, and we got the last couple of rolls that they ever produced. Super wearable and really popular. We will produce a collection, we will put it out there on our website, we'll send it out to our buyers, and then it will last as long as it lasts. It's completely broken us free from this constant having to come up with something new, sell it for a short period of time, discount it, sell it off at a discounted price, and get back on it. So we don't do a sale anymore because our products are priced at a fair price. They cost what they cost to make, and they're available as long as they're available.
It may well be that we're looking at entirely new models. Some people are talking about moving towards a more rental type of business model. Companies perhaps will have to take more responsibility for clothing after the point of sale, so they will be responsible for end of life, end of use. We may well see that legislation comes in. One of the biggest constraints to bringing production closer to home is the cost. So if we have robots in fashion factories, we won't have such cost issues, and potentially production could move back to the countries where the clothes are sold. So that would really change the dynamics of the industry. I think we also have to remember that the fashion industry has been a massive boon to a lot of countries. It's helped with their economic development, and it's provided a lot of employment for people who otherwise would not have been able to get out to work. I think we've got to be very careful if people are going to be displaced by robots and automation, that we actually have additional or alternative jobs for them to move to.
Tamay and Me as a brand is the bringing together of my skills and Tamay's skills. So we're two women from two sides of the world, make clothing in a sustainable way that benefits Tamay's community, but also teaches us here in the UK and in the Western world how clothing is made and what that entails. The two of us met in the market in 2017. And she immediately was so friendly and so kind. And she said to me, did I want to learn how to make their embroidery? I said yes, of course. I went then every day for the next 3 months and learned how to make this tiny piece of embroidery. It was the most beautiful and intense experience that I've ever done. And it happened that we just got on really well. I felt like I wanted to give her something back. I started to buy their vintage textiles and to sell them in the UK. Felt like an immediate way to give money to the village, which actually is a very poor village, but it didn't feel like a long-term sustainable project. It's almost like a workwear jacket. It's something that is really versatile. It's a unisex piece. It's got a zero waste cut, which is because it's based on a really traditional piece of clothing. This is Tamay's village, in fact, and this is the embroidery that I learnt how to make. They always make new clothes for themselves and their families each year, and they are covered in embroidery. That's something that if they don't do it as women, they don't make their new clothes each year, then they're considered lazy and they're not respected by the village. We buy the old pieces of embroidery, so we're trying to do it in a way that really complements their needs and is able to give them a bit of an income, but also encourage them to keep on making for themselves and for their families as a priority. It's really difficult to tell how long a jacket actually takes because each process fits into the different parts of the year and the calendar. We don't have any kind of toxic waste, which is quite phenomenal, really. Tamay runs the production in Vietnam, so we work on a really who needs what kind of basis. It's really important that everybody's happy in a workforce, I think. That's, of course. It's about retracing every step of a process of a garment and then examining how to do that in the best way possible, using traditional skills and finding artisans who still make in the most handmade way, which for me is where beauty lies.
I think it's fundamentally important that we do educate fashion designers, actually thinking about the end of life of the products that they're designing at the very early stages. So when they're designing a product, they can think about materials that they're going to use and what will happen to these materials when the garment reaches the end of its life.
my name's Helen Newcomb. I'm the founder of Davy J Swimwear. We're a new brand, we're only a year old, and this is our first opportunity to exhibit at London Fashion Week in the designer showrooms. And we're a sustainable brand, so all of our swimwear is made using econo yarn, which is 100% regenerated from waste. So things like fishing nets, plastic scraps, offcuts from carpets, all regenerated, turned back into nylon yarn and then made into things like our swimwear. We also look very much at a circular economy side, so building products to last, fighting that trend of fast fashion, building things to last, and also encouraging consumers to send products back to us at the end of their life. So we look at resources as a kind of longer term use rather than just a product reaching the end of its life and going in the bin.
What we are seeing is that a lot of companies are looking at alternative dyeing processes. Dyeing uses massive amounts of water, so we're seeing things like foam dyeing. We're seeing things like using sound waves to push dyes into fabrics. Laser finishing rather than some of the more traditional finishing processes that we would have seen in factories. The dry dye process used carbon dioxide, which was pressurized until it became supercritical, and that was used to push the dye into the fibers. But the process, as I understand it, is very expensive, and it can only be used on polyester. So it really hasn't taken off in the way that we expected that it might have done when we initially heard about it. So there's a lot of work going on. Machinery is becoming more efficient. Companies are finding ways to dye products without using as much water. And again, it's an area that we're seeing an awful lot of research carried out at.
Education is really putting sustainability on the agenda, and particularly at the London College of Fashion for the last 10 years. It's been really something that we've focused on and made a priority.
If you want to become a pro Python developer without having any prior knowledge on the subject, then join us.
10 years ago, the Centre for Sustainable Fashion was established, which is a research centre, and they've done a huge amount of work to embed sustainability into the curriculum and also develop world-class research and industry partnerships. We're preparing them for the industry that they're going into. This really is the issue of our time, but it's really, really huge, and that can be quite hard for students to grasp. And really, sustainability wasn't something that was covered in lectures. It wasn't something really that I was being taught about. And that has changed a lot. So it's really giving them the tools and the knowledge to be able to build sustainability into their own practice while they're studying. And it gives them that knowledge and awareness that's really going to benefit them when they start their career.
There are lots of companies looking at waste. Waste is a bad name. Waste is not rubbish. Waste is a resource. And there are more and more companies now bringing that to our attention. So Veggia, who are an Italian company, are producing an alternative vegetable leather made from the waste products of the wine industry, which of course is huge in Italy. And so they use the pips to make a bio oil, and the skin and the stalks to make the kind of matter of the product. And this is proving very successful. Another way forward, which is associated particularly with the 21st century, is biodesign. for biomimicry, if not new, but the Californian company Boltthread used biomimicry to make a new microsilk. So they looked at the DNA of spider silk, which is incredibly strong and elastic, and they developed a fermentation process whereby they could create a protein with the same molecular profile as spider silk. And they've developed a new fibre, and they're collaborating now with Stella McCartney. And in the exhibition we have some of the first garments realised in microsilk, designed by Stella McCartney, who is very, very ahead of the game in materials innovation.
The fashion industry absolutely has to be investing in new technology. We're looking at 3D design and prototyping tools. We're looking at 3D printing. We're looking at blockchain, virtual reality, augmented reality, robotics, robot systems, and a lot of automation. We are certainly seeing a lot of automation and roboticized systems in certain processes within apparel production, but we're not yet seeing it from the end-to-end system, and sewing is one of the biggest areas, particularly for robotics, where it's not happening. The biggest challenge in incorporating robotics into sewing lines is that it's very difficult for robots to replicate the dexterity of the human hand. But what we are seeing is, for example, things like automated attachment of collars and automated pocket systems, robotic arms in needle checking. So they're certainly making their way into the industry, but as I say, not in a big way at the moment. It certainly hasn't got to mass adoption.
Lots of brands capitalize on the fact that they make us feel like we need to buy stuff in order to be happy. The role that influencers, celebrities, brands can play is huge. You just get wrapped up in this multi-million-pound marketing campaigns making us feel like we need to buy more stuff, and we don't need to. We really want to highlight the idea of progress over perfection. You know, everybody is on their journey to living more in line with their values. Nobody is perfect. Everyone has made mistakes. And, you know, highlighting the aspect of accessibility, what is possible for people to do every day. So for us, we don't want people to overconsume. Instead, we like to teach people how to inject new life into those same items. That could be stitching over a hole that's broken. On average, let's say a piece of clothing goes through 20 hands before it gets to us. You know, we need to reconnect that respect for the items that we're using every day. There is such a huge range of things that we can do to be more sustainable with our fashion habits. It's just about making you feel supported with whichever route you take, and that's what we're here for.
We're seeing a lot of projects in all sorts of areas, be it technology, being it trying to develop new business models, the development of alternative materials. And a lot of these projects are still very small scale, so there needs to be a lot of collaboration between brands, manufacturers, retailers who are traditionally competitors. We have to see them coming together to scale up some of these ideas and We are seeing a massive amount of change, and a lot of companies really do care. I think it's perhaps all too easy to focus on occasions where effluent is illegally discharged or there are violations in terms of labour rights. So I think we should also look at the very positive stories out there.
In order to remake fibres, we have to understand how to recycle them to produce really good quality fibres that the public will trust. And our problem is that so many of our fibres are blended fibres, because fibres have different qualities and they often work better combined together. But we have this fantastic dictionary of fibres, and it's how they're made that is often wrong. If we can devise good ways, better ways of making them, that is a step forward. It's too easy to say one thing is good and another thing is bad. We need to look at their qualities and the ways in which we make them and use them and dispose of them.
There is no one silver bullet sort of sustainable material that's going to fix all the problems. You've always got to sort of balance it out. So really looking at that, how we can maybe slow the fashion system down. It's moving so fast now and we're talking about such huge volumes, and those are just increasing at the moment. Our relationship with clothes can change and shift, and the economy is less about sort of consumption and volume and growth. It could be more about, reuse and sharing, and in that way we can maybe close the loop and reuse clothes for much longer, and make use of that valuable resource.
Okay. So, did all of you understand what the future of fashion would be and how it would be like?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you find that video to be truly interesting?
Yes, ma'am. Of course. Yes.
There are endless opportunities in the field of fashion, but at the same time, we need to know when to stop. Now, the designers of today's generation has to be well taught about all of these aspects, so that it's not just about designing clothes. Now it is a wake up call to address this issue and design something which is more sustainable. और मे बी एग्जिस्टिंग मटेरियल को आप रिफर्बिश कैसे कर सकते हो, कैसे रीमेक बना कर सकते हो, या फिर उसमें क्या वैल्यू एडिशन कर सकते हो, so that you can wear it for next 5-10 years is sustainability. You can see the number of waste, the amount of waste that is generated, right? So it is a high time that you take this call and you understand the purpose of fashion is not just about, see, आपको मैं mainstream चीजें भी बता सकती थी कि industry क्या कर रहा है. You understood the process, how the process works, how the industry works, but now it is high time that you need to understand that fashion industry has to be truly global. And global could be when you are addressing a global problem, a global concern, that is sustainability, that is about the degradation of this planet Earth, right? So this is a wake-up call that we need to address to these problems, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Did you understand the purpose of showing you that video?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So any doubts you have, any, you must have got a lot of information regarding, you must have got a lot of information in that video, right? About the different kind of material, about the different kind of textiles, about the different kind of dyeing processes, fibers, sustainability, how brands are working. So it was a wholesome video, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, so you can take a note of it, and probably you can do your own research, and further, you can develop some valuable insights, and develop your own thought uh, regarding the problem areas that you have found out, right? So any doubts you have? Excuse me, any doubts?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Anything that you want to know? मैं आपको मेन स्ट्रीम वीडियोस वगैरह भी दिखा सकती थी, बट द सब्जेक्ट वाज इंट्रोडक्शन टू फैशन इंडस्ट्री. सो इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या है क्या नहीं है, बेसिक कैसे काम होता है, मर्चेंडाइजिंग कैसे होता है, सप्लाई चेन क्या होता है, आई टॉट यू ऑल ऑफ दैट. बट अभी इंडस्ट्री कैसे थ्राइव कर रहा है, अभी इंडस्ट्री को क्या जरूरत है, दैट वाज आल्सो इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर यू गाइज टू नो. So which is why I showed you that video, so that you get a hang of the subject entirely from end to end, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
I hope this video helps, right? And whatever I have taught you helps. So this is the last class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So any doubt or anything you want to ask?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you please share the links with, by email, the links to all the videos which you have shown, because I think I've missed most of them. I could not log in, on time, and I have missed most of the class sessions
I
actually.
don't have your email IDs.
It is there with the I think the regional center has all the emails, ma'am. That's
Yeah,
how they
but
are
being
sending us all the.
I'm a guest faculty. Okay.
Huh.
So which is why I do not have your email IDs. So I have the links pinned in the chat box. Probably you can save it in your phone or something, so that you can further access it, right? So today's video links and the document links are shared in the
Okay. Okay,
chat
ma'am.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And regarding the assignments that you have given in the class, if you don't mind, can you please post that also, ma'am? Because I missed most of it actually.
Okay.
Apart from yeah.
So the assignment was to do research on two international designers to understand how they take inspiration, and how do they perceive, how does a designer think and work. Okay. And the second was to analyze 5-7 fashion news.
Uh-huh. So should we send the thing to you, or
No, it was for discussion. I wanted to
it
know
was
that
for
how
discussion?
are you
Okay.
collecting the data, and how do you do your research.
Okay, ma'am. I mean, for reference, is the internet okay, or should we refer to the magazines or any? Would you
Internet
suggest
is fine.
anything?
No,
Internet is
internet
fine.
journals, research papers, business of fashion. That's
Okay.
so these things you
Could you
can.
please repeat the second assignment? What you said, second one?
5 national news, 5 news regarding the fashion industry, and
Okay.
research on 2 international designers.
Okay, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you want to ask?
Ma'am, I want to know about positioning.
What positioning? Brand positioning,
Ma'am, STP process.
segmentation, targeting, and positioning.
Yes, ma'am.
But that is not
Only
related to this
positioning
context. Positioning. Okay. So the positioning means that this is a marketing you know uh, concept, wherein positioning means the brand position itself in people's mind. For example, if I tell you about Gucci, right? मैं जब आपको गुची बोली तो आपके दिमाग में क्या आया? What was the first thought that came into your mind?
Handbag.
Handbag. Okay. If I talk about Tommy Hilfiger.
Ma'am, I don't know about this.
Okay, Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein. Bears. Ready to wear.
Ready to. Okay, now see the fundamental difference. आपने Gucci में, whenever you have seen Gucci, or the first thing that came into your mind was handbags. Okay, so you from there you can know that कि the brand has positioned itself in the market. तुम जितना जानती हो तुम्हारे नॉलेज से तुमने ये सोचा कि ओके ये ब्रांड बैग्स बनाता है, ठीक है, तुम्हारे दिमाग में ये भी होगा ये अल्ट्रा लग्जरी ब्रांड्स बैग्स बनाता है, करेक्ट? But when
Yes,
it
ma'am.
came to this brand, Calvin Klein, you said कि it's a ready to wear thing, which is true. Yeah, तो वो ready to wear garment बनाता है, ठीक है? It is not a ultra luxury brand, right? So Calvin Klein has positioned itself, okay, not above Gucci, right? It is a mass market brand, but a वो premium range में आता है, ठीक है? But when it comes to Gucci, it is ultra premium. It is like a custom made piece to piece on piece order basis. तो मतलब it is like a luxury. But Calvin Klein is not luxury. So the brand has positioned itself in your head, in our mind, in people's mind, that Gucci is a luxury brand, CK is a semi-premium brand, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is positioning. So how the brand position itself in people's mind in terms of delivering their brand values and ethics. So based on that, the brand positions itself in the market.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
That's how the prices are decided. That's how the MRP of a product is decided. When you pay a higher price, you perceive that product to be uber luxurious, right?
Yes, ma'am.
इतना पैसा दिया है ये बहुत it's handcrafted, it is truly luxurious, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the thing. That's how the brand position itself in people's minds. So that is positioning.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
So this is not related to this subject, but how come you asked me this marketing question?
मैम बुक में है.
अच्छा तुम्हारे बुक में है, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, okay. So that is positioning, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Hope this helps. Hope I have taught you something fruitful and needful, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone, guys. Thank you. I'm closing this session, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.